This will disappoint some who want President Ruto out of office ASAP. First, listen to National Treasury CS John Mbadi.
JKIA must be done. So that's one of the pipeline projects. But if President Kibaki, in terms of hardware, will be remembered for Thika Highway and maybe LAPSET project that was launched during his tenure, and President Uhuru will be remembered for Expressway and possibly the SGR, I am sure President Ruto will be remembered for Ironimau Summit. President Ruto should be remembered for the JKIA, in my view, and even progressing SGR from Naivasha all the way to Malaba. So I think these 7 years remaining in President Ruto's presidency should help us realize that. And we are beginning with this remaining 2 years in the first term to make sure that Ironimau Summit is actualized and at the bare minimum starts also our airport. So we must deliver. We are under instructions with my colleague here that we must deliver these things. I don't know why you people laughed, but that is it.
The CS tweeted, delighted to have delivered keynote address at the PPP symposium held in Nairobi, aiming to expand country's infrastructural space while adopting innovative, sustainable financing mechanisms to reinforce the limited public resources against the fast-growing demands. So it is shocking he's still here to talk about politics instead of focusing on the theme of the summit. Yes, the government wants to raise over 290 billion Kenyan shillings to support infrastructural development in the country. However, you heard people laughing when he talked of 7 more years remaining for President Ruto. Because honestly, this should not have been the forum for that. It is outrageous. First, he is a cabinet secretary, and as a CS for National Treasury, he is supposed to be a political at this point. But in recent days, he has been talking actively about Ruto's re-election. He speaks about President Ruto's re-election every time, and in fact, he does so with the certainty, with the temerity. What's wrong with this guy? Does he want to be CS or he wants to get back to politics? Second, this kind of talk is becoming commonplace among President Ruto's allies, but annoying to many who want Ruto out. In my informed opinion, there is a deliberate effort to psychologically prepare Kenyans that President Ruto is there to stay until 2032. But that should be done legally. If Kenyans re-elect him, that is fine. He will serve the country until that time. But the challenge here is the likes of Mbadi want to make it like it is a must. The president must serve for 2 terms, even if he doesn't win the vote. I think that's why Kenyans have a problem with the 2-term team. Third, the president is fully committed to infrastructure. SGR extension to Western Kenya is a project not just meant to transform Kenya, but it is political. Ruto will embed it on his campaign messaging. When JKIA is done, Rironi Summit dueling project is also done, especially towards 2027. President Ruto will have something to talk about when it comes to development. And perhaps that is why the likes of Mbadi and others are really pushing for PPPs, okay, to raise money for these projects. In terms of development, this is a good thing, though. However, for those who are opposed to President Ruto, definitely it's not a good thing, because Ruto will have flagship projects to anchor his campaign on. However, this persistent talk about the president's re-election being a certain thing is outrageous. Even if it is hypothetical, I really don't understand why Mbadi talks about Ruto serving for 2 terms every time he holds a mic. He is more focused on re-election than even revamping the economy. To me, it's like he wants to shout 2-term and wants to replicate the plot by people like Kamket, Sudi and Wajir women rep. You get what I mean? So what do you think of the remaining 7 years of President Ruto? If it is achievable, share in the comment section, or generally tell me, what do you think of 7 more years remaining for President Ruto? Is it not outrageous? Does it disturb your mind?
People laughed, but that is it.
This is just another day with Owen Analysis.